And, oh no, you really got to be catching those ones, boys. You can't be giving Tuisova a free run to the line. Look at him go. Rappi! Week 2 has come and gone, and after week 1's highs, this was definitely the come down round. Lots of sober realizations to deal with. France versus Uruguay. This was never supposed to be a close match. Fortunately for all of us, France took a laissez-faire attitude into the game. Add in Uruguay's captain playing like a man so angry he could cuss a sailor to tears, and we got a much closer and more entertaining game than was first predicted. France did manage to muster enough interest to win the game 27 points to 12 in the end, and look set to top their pool nicely. New Zealand versus Namibia. After losing heavily in 2019 and 2015 against the All Blacks, was this the third time lucky for Namibia? No, this was the worst defeat for them ever against the men from Aotearoa. 71 points to 3, eclipsing the 71 points to 9 record from 2019, and not even a try of the year contender for all their agony. Samoa versus Chile. Chile is so much fun to watch, man. Their backline plays with insane pace and their defense, like Uruguay's, is better than one would expect. Too bad they came up against an Uchiha, wielding a powerful fire jutsu. Samoa's star-studded team of weebs played great rugby on the way to a comprehensive 43-10 win. But Chile has won our hearts. So who's the real winner? Wales versus Portugal. Saturday evening, I found myself around the kitchen table with my Portuguese in-laws watching rugby and eating KFC. It was weird. Thankfully, the vibes stayed positive as Portugal gave Wales a good game and even scored a lovely no-look off-the-top line-out try. Mwah, muito bom. Wales still won, of course. They were carried to a 28-8 victory in Talupa Faletau's spacious cheeks. He's always the safety net when Wales are in a bums-for-brains kind of mood. Ireland versus Tonga. Ireland has now finally concluded all their World Cup warm-up matches against Tonga. Tonga, who remind me of myself at age 21, just squandered potential and talent. Ireland showed they are ready for the big games on their way to a 59-16 win, and Bandi Aki currently looking untouchable at 12. I'm sure a Mr. De Islander will endeavour to touch him very effectively very soon. South Africa versus Romania. Speaking of untouched, the rain bucketing down in Bordeaux on Saturday seemed to offer way more resistance to the Boks plans than Romania ever did. Try after try rained down as the Boks recorded multiple hat-tricks, the final score of 76-0 coming at the great moral cost of having 4 scrum-offs in the matchday 23. Disgusting. Australia versus Fiji. Ooh. Close your eyes and picture the team that I'm about to describe in your head. A dominant pack, a good kicking game, menacing breakdown threats that stop attacks and earn penalties, a good kicker that converts those penalties into scoreboard pressure. The punchline is pretty obvious. This World Cup's first proper turnover saw Fiji beat Australia by 22 points to 15 on Sunday. Nyatalevo and French throwing Pool C wide open and giving us all that World Cup high we've all been jonesing for. England versus Japan. Last game of the week, and the biggest news is that England went a full 80 minutes without any players getting accepted into tackle school. They continued their new old plan of kicking more than 1,000 meters a game and using the Aled Walters fitness program to suffocate Japan into submission. 34-12 for England, including 4 tries, and everyone raising their eyebrows in 2007-esque fashions. And those were all the games for week 2. For week 3, we have, let's say, a few harder games to call. But which will be the game of the week? How about Springboks versus Ireland for your ass? Officially the highest ranked pool match of all time. The world number 1 taking on the world number 2. All for the honour of, Scotland permitting, taking on New Zealand in the quarterfinals. What a prize. Regardless, the entire rugby world will be watching. We want to see Kitshoff versus Furlong. We want Eben versus Byrne. Give me Dukes versus Aki. It probably doesn't matter in the long run, but why wouldn't you want to watch this? But that is the primetime show, which game will be attended solely by people in Birkenstocks and orange beanies. What is the game for the geek? The fancy wine this week is Georgia versus Portugal. Now that we've seen both teams play, we know which team we want to support, and we know which player we want to do well. We can all sit around the table with our in-laws and enjoy some nice rugby and KFC. Of course, there's plenty more to enjoy other than those two games. Italy versus Uruguay has the potential to be even closer than France versus Uruguay. France versus Namibia surely will not be as close as France versus Uruguay. Surely. If Argentina has another all-time shitpile performance against Samoa like they had against England, then I'm thinking they will be going home just before the playoffs. Let's all hope Chile has been practicing their highball catches for the entire week, because I don't see England changing from tweed to tie-dye just because it's a slightly weaker opponent. And finally, Scotland can step away from the braai on Sunday and take out their frustrations on Tonga. It is mad that we're 3 weeks into the World Cup and we have not seen Duhan, Darcy or even Carl Steyn score a try. Mad.
It is also mad that I forgot that Wales are playing Australia in a do-or-die match this week. Let's all just blame my extreme fatigue from raising a toddler and a newborn at the same time, and not some deep-seated bias against both these teams. It's definitely not that.
And that will be all the games for week 3. Remember to get all your picks in before Wednesday because that's when the first game kicks off. You do not want to be in the position I am in. I don't want to do this, but I do have some terrible news for you to hear. Sad, unfortunate, terrible news that I'm sure you've heard. Malcolm Marx, the real-life manifestation of fuck them up physically, is out of the World Cup. Now it seems the Boks will be applying the Lego fly-off concept to the hooker position. Get ready for the Van Staden Fury hooker Voltron. I hope it goes well. And finally, this is modern rugby, so some tackle school bursaries have been handed out to the have-nots. Ethan de Groot was the lucky recipient this week. After getting a shot wrong against Namibia, he has gone through the whole 6 weeks down to 3 dons. It'll go down a further week if he attends the prestigious School of Tackling, and he should be ready for the quarterfinals after that. And the rugby update will also be available for the quarterfinals. Or maybe not. It is impossible to tell at this point. I will see you all next week so we can discuss Pollard's late inclusion that saw him pack down next to Malherbe for a game-winning penalty try. Bye!